I think actually that stores and brands don't think enough about their store associates and how they are playing a role. Authenticity is absolutely important and key, but I think about Sephora, and Sephora has created a whole environment in store where it's all about the stage. And I think they refer to backstage and on the floor, and I forget what they call their associates, but they call them something like the stars or something like that. And they really bring it to life. But how do you do that without losing a sense of authenticity or making sure that what you're doing and saying really resonates with your audience or with the customer?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to, the people that you're working with have to believe in what you're doing, first of all. Like, if they don't believe in it, it's not going to work, even if you train them. I think rehearsal, is really important, and practicing it and getting feedback from the audience. Like in the few times that I've worked with people who are more like a retail employee than an actor, but in those kinds of experience, like we still rehearse, even if it's just the person who's, coming through to pick up the drinks. Like there's still a character, and we still rehearse because somebody is going to talk to them, and they're there and they're a person. So yeah, I would rehearse with those Sephora people and, work on their improv skills, work on their talking points and their lines and their character. Yeah.
That's
really good advice. Have you seen that in action in a retail environment? I mean, have you come across any store where you think, wow, they have actually done this in a proper way, or in a way that I feel as a customer that I'm being involved in this story here?
Mm-hmm. I've been in stores that I think are definitely creating an experience really well. I don't know that I've seen the actual retail employees do a great job of carrying the story unless it was an arts experience, or a theater experience. Like the immersive theater, like they always have the bartenders and the waitresses, like everybody's always in character. But places like Cyberdog in London, I don't know if you've been there, or maybe not since you were a teenager. They've been around for a long time, but they definitely create a very theatrical experience. It's like a rave supply store. It's kind of geared towards young adults. Like you go in, they've got fog that they're shooting at you, and then there are go-go dancers, and it's just this
Wow.
Like it is full on. You're like, whoa. Yeah, the music is really, really loud.
Wow.
So it doesn't.
The only one I can think of other than Sephora is, Abercrombie and Fitch, when they still had those big flagship stores, and they had the very attractive young people dressed in their clothes who would go around and sort of model the clothes and model the experience of what it's like to wear their clothes. But that's really the only ones that maybe Apple to a certain degree, the only ones that I can think of that have created something that you can actually call a retail experience.
Yeah, that's true. The Apple Genius employees, they've got a vibe when you're in a good Apple store. Salons do this. Like a lot of times a good salon will have a vibe where you walk in and all of the hairdressers, like they have their own personality, but you can feel if it's the kind of place where they're like, you're going to walk in, they're going to be your girlfriend, they're going to lift you up, make you feel beautiful. And it just has like a really positive vibe. To some degree, they're playing themselves, but they're also playing a role. I actually think salons do great retail experiences because you show up, you sit in this nice little area where you get to read a magazine and relax. Then they bring you wine or a drink. You get a hair massage. They tell you you're beautiful. They've added
I
quite a few.
I clearly need to change my address.
Your hairdresser does a brilliant
I don't
job.
think I've had a glass of wine at my hairdresser's yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, maybe it's a San Francisco thing. I don't like the snooty salons because I don't feel like they kind of, make my heart feel warm. But the ones that are, it's like being at your best friend's house, except it's really clean and nice. And
you have to wonder about those snooty environments, because maybe that's part of it as well. Because there are people who are attracted to the idea that either they want to be treated poorly or they're lucky to be a part of the club. That kind of that's probably carefully cultivated as well. It's
totally.
You think, or maybe they're just jerks. You never know.
Or it's like we know style. Like we're better than you. That's why you have to come to us because
Yeah.